Hello, this is Dolores. I'm going to be going over how to read a transcript. Above the place where all the grades and classes are shown, there'll usually be some headers that will help you to read the transcript. This is important because every transcript looks a little bit different. In this case, we see course ID is one of the headings, so these numbers down here, which you don't usually have to pay very much attention to. Course title, which is pretty obvious, the sewing class or French class or English class. This word mark pertains to the grades in this column. Then you see ATT/CMP, so that stands for attempted and completed. So this column on the left is credits attempted, and this column on the right is credits completed. So credits attempted will show you basically what a class is worth, like what's the maximum number of credits you can earn, whereas completed will show you how many you did in fact earn at the end of the semester. And usually for any course you take during a semester, a fall or a spring semester, or even a summer semester, it's going to be 5 credits. But that varies. Sometimes PE classes are worth less, like 2.5 credits, depending on if it's a quarter system or a semester system. And also if you're attending a continuation school or something like that, then it may just simply be based on how much work you turned in. So every transcript can look a little different, or every section of the transcript can be different depending on what school you attended and what classes you took. This transcript in general is pretty average. It represents the most common scenarios. So you see right here, 9th grade fall semester for this student, and then you'll see spring semester. So every year has a fall and a spring semester if it's on a semester system, which most schools in California are. Then you have 10th grade fall, and then the beginning of 10th grade spring, which carries over into this side of the page, and then 11th grade fall and 11th grade spring. And like I said, if this was a transcript that showed the students' current classes, that would be another square down here, and it would say something like in progress for those courses. So I want to show you the difference between something like a D-, where the student attempted to complete 5 credits for that course and in fact did earn the 5 credits, versus where a student attempted to earn 5 credits and earned an F in that class and therefore received 0 credits. This is something to think about when you're struggling in a class and you have just 1 or 2 assignments or a big test coming up. The difference between getting a C or even a D at the worst case scenario is that the class will still count if you earn those 5 credits, whereas when you get an F, you get 0. And so all the time you spend in that class really didn't earn you any credits, and you'll have to take the whole thing over again and spend another semester learning the same material. So let me go down now to the bottom of the page to a very important section called the credit summary. So the highlighted sections again are the headings to help you understand what is found beneath it. So you have subject areas, credits required, credits completed, and credits needed. So let's take fine arts, language, and tech. You need 20 credits in this area to graduate. This student completed 20 already, so the student no longer needs any credits in that subject area. For some reason, a lot of schools do kind of repeat the fine arts and language and then have it separated out with the tech. So I can't explain why they do that, but you can see right here that 10 are required, 10 were completed, and now 0 are needed for the student to graduate in terms of those subject areas. Most schools do require 40 credits in English. So I want to ask you a question. How many years of English will that usually mean for you? Pause. Another question. If this student has completed their 11th grade of high school, how many years of English should they have completed, and what number should be in this column? Pause. That's right. If the student hadn't failed any English classes that they took, then they would have earned 30 credits. They would only have 10 left, and that would be a way to show that they're completely on track. It's kind of hard to take 2 years worth of English in 1 year. So the student may have to look into alternatives for catching up, maybe doing dual enrollment with city colleges in the area, taking some online courses, or ideally taking an English class over the summer before their senior year, if possible. So this credit breakdown shows something interesting. It shows economics, which is only a 1 semester class, so 5 credits. Government, which is also a 1 semester class for 5 credits. American history, which is a 1 year class, so 10 credits. And world history, which is a 1 year class, so another 10 credits. The reason why I say this is unusual is that these requirements are very common, but oftentimes you will see them kind of grouped all together under a different heading. Like it might say history / econ / government, and then it'll have 30 credits there. Most schools do require only 2 years of PE, so 20 credits. Health is not always required, but when it is, it's usually only 1 semester, so 5 credits. Life science, you usually need 1 year at least, and that usually translates into a biology class, although if you have a really cool high school, you might have some other options that are not just plain biology classes, but it still has to include some type of life science. Physical science is usually physics or chemistry. So again, I've seen things like environmental science included in this category if a high school has a lot of fun options. But the basic classes that every school would offer would be physics or chemistry. Mathematics, you usually only need 3 years of math. That's why a lot of seniors don't take math classes anymore, because they have completed that in their freshman, sophomore, and junior year. But it is good to take math in your senior year, because when you get to college, you have to take an assessment test to show how high of a grade you've earned in your highest math class. And in order to not get kind of rusty on your math skills, it's good to take math in your senior year so you'll test straight into the highest possible math in college and not waste any time catching up once you get there. Electives are one of the subject areas that vary from high school to high school the most. So here we see that you only need 45 electives, but I'm going to show you later a credit summary where the number of electives needed to graduate is much higher, and that's based on changes that that school has made in these other areas. So the total required for graduation here is 220 credits. That's a very average number for graduation requirements. So this student completed 160 credits so far and needs 60 in their senior year. So look at question number 3 and fill in the blanks and work out the equations. We want to see if this student can complete these 60 credits in the 1 year that they have left. Pause. Now I want to show you one of the ways that electives are determined. So it's possible that you know right away that a class that you're signing up for is an elective, but sometimes electives are just classes in a certain subject area that you no longer need to actually graduate and you're taking it for fun. So I have an example here. We see these 2 categories down at the bottom right of fine arts, language, and tech. And altogether you need 30 credits in these 2 areas combined. So I've highlighted all the classes that are counted in those 3 areas. And this student has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 credits altogether. So if they only need 30 credits to graduate, then how many of those classes like freehand drawing and design and art, media and arts are going to count as elective? How many of those credits will be counted as electives? Pause. Yes, the student has earned 25 credits and they only need 45 electives, so they have 20 left to earn. Now, in the future, those classes won't all be in art necessarily. It's whatever that student wants. But basically, any class that you're taking that isn't counting towards your other graduation requirements is going to count as an elective. Lastly, I want to show you a different graduation summary. This comes from Lompoc. The transcript we've been looking at is from Santa Barbara Unified High School District. And this is from Lompoc Unified District. So Lompoc requires, well, first of all, this is organized differently. The credits completed is on the farthest right-hand column. The credits required are in the middle, and the credits that are still needed, here it's labeled as the credits you're short. Those are on the left-hand column. So they require 4 years of English, 3 years of math, so those are both the same as the other graduation requirements. But this is a little different. They require 30 units or 30 credits in social sciences. So who can answer this question first? What are the classes that make up this category, broken down into 30 credits? Pause. Here we have science, 30 credits are required. Who can tell me, or actually tell Jojo and Magali, what is different about this requirement than the other transcript that you have in front of you? Pause. That's right. 3 years of science are required at this district instead of 2. So what I'm going to assume that means for this school is that they really want you to take biology, physics, and chemistry to prepare you for college. So they're not making that an option at this school, which can be kind of hard if you're coming from another school and let's say you're a senior and you finished all your science requirements, but now you have a whole other year of science to complete. So that is one of the challenges and one of the reasons why you have to pay a lot of attention when you move into a new school district. So they have the same amount of PE credits needed. How many credits less in this subject area are needed at this school district? Pause. How many more electives are needed at this school district? Pause. And then lastly here, the total amount of credits is actually 10 higher than the last school. So automatically, if you've gotten from a school where you've just taken the average number of 6 classes per semester and you get to a school like this, you might have some catching up to do. So it's important to talk to your counselor about how you can do that and what options are available to you.